What is a choice? When it comes to the narrative of a video game, choice is an important aspect. A lot of games seem to try and give you the option to decide how the story will progress, what will happen to certain characters, and yet a lot of games don't actually give you any choices. Only an illusion that your decisions had any sort of impact on the story, on the world, on the characters, on what is happening before you. And how can you tell the two apart? It's actually quite simple. A choice isn't between proceed or fail. That's not a choice. A choice is also not between win or lose. Again, not a choice, because you will always choose to win. Unless the entire point of the game is to be some sort of commentary about winning and losing, but most games aren't about that. To illustrate exactly what I mean, I'm going to offer you two examples of two games which are part of the same series and offer you radically different methods of choice. Namely, one doesn't actually offer you any choice, while the other does. Those games are Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3. And right now you just got an idea, didn't you? If you've played Mass Effect 3, then you know the ending. That no matter what you do, it's basically the same thing with a different color, meaning that the game doesn't actually give you any choices. Well, no, actually it does give you quite a lot of choices. Mass Effect 2, on the other hand, doesn't. Well, not totally doesn't, it gives you one choice. And I'll be going into spoiler territory for both games, so if you haven't played them, feel free to wait a bit before you see this video. The only actual choice given to you by Mass Effect 2 is when you have to pick which character lives or dies. Again, you're thinking of the wrong thing. I'm not talking about the ending. No, it's when you choose between Morant and Samara. That's the only point in the game where your choice actually has an influence, where you have to choose what happens to a character. Because all throughout the rest of the game you don't have any similar choices, and that really bothered me because this was set up to be a suicide mission, a game where your choices would influence greatly what happened to your team, but you never get to make any choices. You're faced with the same binary, well, not binary, there's no choice, you either win or lose. And choosing to lose is again something you shouldn't really count as a factor in your decision, because why would you choose to lose? There's no contingency about losing. There's no, hey, if everyone actually dies, I get this different ending where, I don't know, the Reapers actually turn out to be friendly. No, they just disregard the ending where everyone dies completely. Again, because it wasn't made to be a choice. You were supposed to win. To what degree you won, again, it was your decision, but it wasn't an actual choice. It was basically down to how lazy you got. Because in Mass Effect 2, the result of the suicide mission is based entirely on whether you completed or not the side missions for each character, whether they were metaphorically saved. There's a lot of Christian symbolism in the game. You have 12 followers. After you do the missions, there's a halo over them. Your character is the shepherd, and if you form a bond with your team, they are saved. Not just in a metaphysical sense, but physically saved. They go through all that suicide mission thing without a scratch. Okay, you also have to upgrade your ship, which can take a while depending on how lazy you are. But at no point are you given the choice to sacrifice the odds of your success in order to achieve something else. Meaning, you were either lazy and didn't complete the game as you should have, or you just beat the game with something that really wasn't a suicide mission. And if you're thinking that, well, the game did give me then the choice to assign someone to be the biotic user, to put someone in charge of the other team, to have someone crawl through the ducts and hack the computers, but again, this wasn't a choice. You already had very strict roles. I mean, the biotic user, who else but the Asari biotic commando? The other leader, Miranda, your second in command. The hacker, well, Pal 18 of course. I mean, well, here's the thing. Mass Effect 2's suicide mission is the exact same mission as the one at the end of Anachronox, which was a sci-fi game made by Ironstorm of Daikatana and Deus Ex fame a long time ago. The people at BioWare seem to be really big fans of it because they borrow certain motifs from it, certain stylistic choices for characters, for environments, for story, and for mission design. And that had the exact same ending mission. Well, you didn't fight a giant robot embryo, but up until that point they had just about the same mission design. I won't go into detail about Anachronox because I don't want to spoil it for you. It's a great game, I encourage you to buy it, it's on GOG right now, you can play it anytime you want. I just want to highlight that you aren't given any choices in Mass Effect 2. You're just given the opportunity to either win or to lose with various degrees of success, depending on whether you actually wanted to play the entire game or not. Now contrast this to Mass Effect 3. That game actually gave you a lot of choices, a lot of very difficult choices, and I applaud BioWare for changing things up so much. Mass Effect 3 gets a lot of crap because of its ending. Well-deserved crap because of its completely horrible ending that basically destroys the Reapers as any sort of good sci-fi. They just become another Geth, another Cylon with flimsy motivations and basically no depth to them. That was my issue with the ending. But I had no issues with the choices it gave you because you actually had choices. And I'm just gonna name you one of them. One single choice that solidifies Mass Effect 3 as a game that actually offers you the ability to decide what happens, unlike its predecessor. Because even if you either saved Samara or Morant, you didn't actually change all that much. However, when you get the chance to either save the life of Professor Mordin Solus or let him redeem his past mistake and save the Krogan race from extinction, you're actually given a choice, a moral dilemma, and also to a certain point a gameplay one. Because what do you get? Because you can either keep Solus as a brilliant scientist or you can get more support from the Krogans. Okay, at this point I actually thought that it mattered more at the end. Didn't really, but in that moment you actually had that choice. And what you decided altered the story. It killed off a character, it gave new life to others, or it could have saved the character and doomed the entire race to extinction and horrible suffering up until then. That was without a doubt my favorite moment from Mass Effect 3. One that highlighted to what depth the choices you had in this game series could aspire to, could have been, had you not spent the entire previous game without having any actual decision-making ability. Because it gave you a choice between two elements that were unquantifiable. One wasn't better than the other. One wasn't the clear superior choice. It wasn't between proceed or fail, it wasn't between win or lose. It was something way beyond that meager duality. It was an actual choice. And we'd all be better off if games had more of that. Well, to be fair, games like The Witcher always had more of that, but those are Witcher games. The entire point of that series was to show you that there is no black and white, there are no heroes and villains, there's just a lot of gray area through which you'll have to navigate according to your own moral compass. We'd all be better off if more games had this concept, if it wasn't just win or lose, live or die, because at that point, every combat encounter has the same weight as the choices in the story. By deciding to just step in front of the enemy and get shot, you're basically having the same effect as the entire plot of Mass Effect 2 in regards to choice.